Let's see. I'm not really expecting anything particular out of this conversation. I'm just here to help. Candy's on the phone right now.
No, I'm not. We're live now. Hi, John. Thanks for coming.
Hey.
Yeah, go ahead, Carl. Carl's my sidekick.
Well, I was just saying,
my
Candy, I'm going to go ahead and post the YouTube link somewhere where people are going to see it in the background.
Okay.
And if my phone's really slow, I'm going to drop out. John, I'm on a mobile. I don't have a computer that I can join with. So if I drop out of the call suddenly, don't be surprised. It happens often.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. If you're on a cell phone, then Hangouts is kind of discriminatory to those cell phones, and they don't like them very much. They kick us out a lot. Like when I was at work and I was on that Hangout with Antonio.
We're live already, by the way.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
But I wanted to just let you come in, John, before I added everybody else, just because I had never talked to you before. So I just didn't want you to come in and have like 12 of us here, 10 of us here, and I didn't get a chance to say hello,
Oh, yeah, no problem. Your audio is a little bit choppy. I'm not sure. It sounded good earlier, and it's just a little staticky. Are you hearing that too, Carl?
Yeah, I was hearing it earlier. Candy, are you on your phone or are you on your computer?
Is it better now?
A little bit, but you're still kind of choppy. Do you have your headphones in or?
Yeah, and I'm on my laptops, and I just put my headphones in, and I figured that would help, but
what do you think about no headphones? How do you feel about it?
Well, let me see. That's how it was. Is it any better? Because I just put the headphones in when John said that I was choppy.
You might need to change your audio settings on the Google Hangout.
Okay, so right now everything's on default. Let me see. So the microphone, I don't know which one. Let me see this.
Yeah, that was it.
That sounds better?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'll put it on communications.
Cool.
Okay, I'm gonna drop this link into. I guess I'm gonna put it in Vinny's thread because I think there's.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and put it in the one that says join link there. A lot of people will see it there.
Yeah, well, no, the join link on the bottom. You talking about on the bottom of the Hangout?
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, on the last one that Vin sent you. Yeah, put it there. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, because if I sit here and try to add all those names, but yeah, and John, but like before we get started and anything, like I'm like, I don't want to sound all like fangirlish. Like that's not what I'm saying. Like I respect you like so much. Like you helped me. Like Mark Sargent, you, ODD, Patricia, John, Rob Skiba, Jeranism. I mean that I'm sure I'm leaving some people. Oh, and David Weiss, and I'm leaving some people out, of course, because I'm sitting here on live, and somebody that was very high involved in watching, made sure I watch every single thing y'all have ever done. So I mean, y'all have helped me learn so much, bless you, along the way. And a lot of you guys have said very similar things, but also have your own individual theories and beliefs and thoughts and ideas. And I just wanted to say thank you for that. Like, thank you for taking all the time that you've taken, bless you, to help us, get into this. And like I was saying earlier, I just discovered the live streaming thing. I was not even aware that it existed. I mean, I knew Patricia went live. I knew Globebusters, y'all do it on Sundays, but I knew that. I never really caught y'all live, maybe once or twice, because that's my only day off. Now I have Tuesdays too, but I didn't really get on YouTube on Sundays. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done for everybody in this community. We appreciate it.
I appreciate that. It means a lot to me, and that's why I've done it, man. When I first came to this realization, it was just something that I really had to try to share with people, and it's been a couple years now, so I guess the atmosphere has changed a little bit, the environment's changed a little bit, but you know, a couple years ago, there wasn't too many people doing this, and you know, you'd get a whole lot more thumbs down and incredulous sort of comments and stuff, which, you know, we still get all the time. But yeah, everybody that you mentioned is great. There's lots of really you know, great flat Earth proponents, content creators doing their own experiments and just getting this truth out there in spite of you know, the social repercussions and in a lot of cases business repercussions. And it's just, you know, I was saying this earlier, but if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing, because this truth is just so important, and it really does put everything else into perspective. And so, yeah, I'm glad that my work and the work of others has been able to help people sort of come across to this and look at it and come to the realization. Yeah, that's why we do it, is to, you know, help people. And you know, you're going to have millions of people who think you're crazy, and even if it's just one or two people every now and then that get it, then that's worth it, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like that too. Like when I kind of I always wish that I had the guts to make a video or videos, and scared to put my face out there, and thought that when I got on air, I wouldn't know what to say, and I would, you know, just fuck it all up, you know? But then last week I was like, I just, based on things that were going on in my life, it made me start looking at a lot of things differently. And I just got this huge burst of inspiration. And Patricia Steer actually was the first person I told about it, because she had sent me a message on Facebook replying to something, and right then I had to like let it out. So I told her what my plans were, you know. But I wanted to start live streaming and give people who don't, you know how it was in the beginning when you have nobody to talk to about this and everybody thinks that you're crazy. I wanted people, you know, a lot of channels, like say Patricia, for instance. I love her. This is no kind of negative, any sort of negativity in what I'm about to say. So I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but like channels like Patricia, they have other big channels on there interviewing them, you know, which I get it, you know, it's not a problem. But I wanted to offer everybody that chance, you know, whoever doesn't have anybody to talk to, or even if they do, you know, even somebody who's still out there globing, if you have questions or, you know, anything, I just wanted to have an outlet for people like that. And in the beginning I said, if I could just get to one person and you know, show them the truth and make them see it, then I would be happy, and it would be like enough for me. But then once I got that one person, I was like, okay, I need more. Like, I just want to keep getting the word out there and keep on spreading information and facts over theories, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's sort of like a soul winning thing. And you know, it's a journey. It's a personal sort of insightful journey that we've got to sort of choose to either go on or not. And it takes a little time. I mean, when you're first presented with this, it seems so silly, and you know, the first reaction is to sort of shrug it off and ignore it. But then once you start looking at it, it's a pretty steep learning curve. And I think I'm still learning 2 years into this. I mean, I'm learning stuff every day. I'm seeing new experiments done every day that are you know, interesting and good, you know, excellent proof of the static plane Earth. And it's just wonderful to me to see just so many people getting involved in it, and not just because it's a trendy thing to do, you know, because they realize it, they understand it, they want to learn more. And that's how I am. I mean, you know, we were all indoctrinated in the same globe Earth system. And to come to this conclusion, it really is just way out in left field compared to the things that we're used to. But, you know, like I said, it puts things into perspective to where, I don't know, you look at obvious false flags and hoaxes like 9/11, Sandy Hook, Boston bombing, even Pearl Harbor, the Maine in Spain back in World War I. I mean, all this stuff, it's like, okay, these are the types of people we're dealing with. They're going to try and trick us. They're going to try and control us. And really, it just seems to me more and more that the globe Earth lie is the root of it all. because it puts us sort of in a position to where we are not special at all. The planet is not special. The solar system, the galaxy is all pretty much insignificant. And even if all of this went away right now in the heliocentric theory, it really wouldn't make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. However, you know, realizing the truth, it's like, okay, well, it seems as if the Earth is actually central to everything. And, you know, not only is it a geocentric thing, but there's nothing like the Earth in the whole known universe as far as we can tell, or as far as we know right now. So it changes all that. I mean, it puts us in a central, special, unique position, and that's it really makes a lot more sense to me, you know, because I used to be fairly cynical about a lot of things, whether it was spirituality or even, you know, just looking back through history. Everything that people fought and died for throughout history is pretty much irrelevant, right, in the heliocentric scheme of things. But when you look at it as this Earth is pretty much all that there is in terms of the physical world, then all of that stuff that happened throughout history was for a purpose. And it all has culminated and brought us to this point right here, right now, for whatever reason. And it, you know, to me, this is one of the most interesting and unique times to be alive in the last few hundred years, I would think, because it really is just this huge revelation. And, you know, I never used to hold too much weight in things like astrology, but it is kind of eerie that we're, you know, now entering into the age of Aquarius, as they say, which sort of symbolizes the outpouring of water, which is often, you know, translated into the outpouring of knowledge. You've got, you know, the book of Revelation, basically saying that truth's going to be revealed to people at a certain time. The book of Enoch coming out. You know, it's just so crazy that we're having all of this truth revealed upon us at this point, right at the beginning of the age of Aquarius, pretty much right on time for the Mayan long count calendar, where it's supposed to reset, and everybody thought the world was going to end in 2012. But it appears as if, you know, it's just a new awakening. It's a new path for people. And, you know, to me, I'm just very grateful to have, you know, be a part of this, and to have helped even just one person to come to the truth. So, yeah, it is very satisfying, and it's very rewarding, not necessarily, you know, carnally rewarding, but spiritually rewarding for sure. So we got a bunch of new people. I'll let someone else talk for a minute.
Just wanted to
everybody's kind of here to talk.
I need to check in on the thread behind this hangout, but have you added anybody besides Zulu yet?
No, yeah, I've added everybody that our normal crew.
James is here. James is with us.
I know you can't
trust in here as well.
I know you can't trust anybody, but you can trust me, man.
I just don't know who James is. Who is that?
James is with me. I can vouch for him. I'm Donald Trump. I'm your president. All right, so I can vouch for James.
Hey, Poncho.
Hello?
Poncho, I just got done watching The Brothers Grimsby.
Oh, did it make you laugh? The ending make you laugh more when they shoved the rockets up their asses.
It was a little grody, but yeah, no, I was cracking up through the whole thing, man. It was hilarious.
Purposeful. We're not alive, are we? Oh, God.
I thought the Morgile was Jaren's wife.
No, that's Missa.
What the heck?
The Morgile is John.
I'd have to watch the video again, but yeah, he said something about the Morgile, and I don't know.
That's not Missa.
Everybody's laughing. So
yeah, Missa is very. She's on his show on Monday night with him.
Jared and I have actually never met in person.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I live on the East Coast. He's on the West Coast, and so no, and neither of us are gay.
So just meet in the middle.
Let's throw that one out real quick.
Like, meet around Utah.
You speak for yourself, Morgile.
No, I thought I watched a video that said something about his wife in the channel Morgile. Maybe I just misunderstood it.
Oh yeah, no, we do a show on Sunday, the Glowbusters on Sunday. So we hang out, we talk frequently and stuff.
Yeah, all right, that's what it was, an advertisement. Because doesn't he do something on Monday?
Yeah, he
Jared
does.
does Monday night.
Yeah, he does a Truth Frequency radio show every
All right.
Monday, Jeranism Raw, which is the #1 show on TFR Monday nights. I think it's 8 Pacific, I want to say, something like
It's
that.
3 hours long too.
Does the Truth Frequency Radio, is that Rob Skiba?
No, that's Chris
No,
Gio.
so-
Chris Gio and his wife, her first name is Cherie Gio.
Oh, okay. See, I'm way outside the loop here.
No, you're good, man. No worries.
Hey, John, I had a question for you. I was looking at some of your videos on your channel, and I was wondering when did you post your first video?
It was actually May 1st of 2015. So I'm just, it's probably been exactly a year since I first really started looking at flat Earth, because it took me about a week to, when I really started looking at it, at the subject seriously, to come to the full doubtless conclusion that, okay, the Earth isn't a spinning ball. And then after that, it would have taken me another week or so to do my first video. So yeah, it's been almost exactly 2 years, but the very first video I posted just so happened to be May Day, which is May 1st of 2015.
Well, if you don't mind, what's your doubtless conclusion?
Well, the doubtless conclusion has always been that the Earth is definitely not spinning on an axis. It's definitely not orbiting the sun, and it's definitely not a ball of any sort. Other than that, you know, you can get into speculation in terms of debunking the heliocentric theory in all different kind of ways. But yeah, the evidence all leads to that doubtless conclusion for me. Like I said, it took me about a week to go from globe earther to complete flat earther. And even after that, I mean, there were periods of doubt. It's not like something, you know, the heliocentric model is something that has been forced on us our whole lives. So it's not like you can just turn that switch off and go over to a whole different cosmology without some doubts involved. But just the more and more evidence that's poured over, and the more and more experiments that are done, it just really becomes obvious, you know. You got biblical scripture to back it up too, as well, which is a bonus for a lot of you know, Christians.
For the 144,000.
Yeah, I don't know where they
Apparently
get
so.
Hey,
You
man.
know,
Spears wants a link, Vinny, Candy. There you go. Vinny's got him. Vinny's got him.
So you're saying that just your individual senses or whatever, it's pretty much where you're.
Well, for like John said, it took him, what did you say, a week to
It was
convert?
about a week. Yeah, it was about a full week, and then, you know, there's periods of doubt, but you know, just do simple experiments. Fire a potato gun perfectly vertically and see what happens. If the Earth was spinning on an axis,
I agree with you. I was just wondering what your doubtless conclusion, because
really,
I still have doubts.
Yeah.
It took me like a year, and from time to time I doubt it.
Well, it took me 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and I never doubted it ever again. You.
what really clicked with me was something when I was about 10 or 11. I took a plane. I've talked about this a couple times, but I took a plane trip from Florida to Orlando, Florida to Dallas, Fort Worth, and on it was the first time I ever flew in a plane, and I was, you know, got kind of bored after takeoff and looking at all the clouds and stuff, and I got to looking at my return ticket, you know, for my flight home, just because I wanted to see how much longer the flight home would be. Because, you know, flying west should theoretically be a much quicker flight, because all of the, you know, Dallas Fort Worth should be racing towards the nose of the plane, which is accelerating towards Dallas Fort Worth. And so I was really shocked to find that the flight durations were projected to be identical. And so when I landed, I told my aunt, you know, hey, I figured out that the Earth isn't spinning. And she looked at, you know, she thought I was crazy. And I explained this whole thing to her. And it was explained away to me. I was just a kid and I never thought about it again. But it's that sort of thing. I mean, it wasn't just that. But things will click with you. We've all lived on Earth our whole lives, and nobody has really ever seen curvature. When you get up in an airplane, you know, 30,000 feet or whatever, the horizon is at your eye level. Weather balloon footage over 100,000 feet, the horizon's still at eye level. And really the fact of not accelerating, 130,000 miles an hour from dusk till dawn, that's really a big one. The constellations remaining constant for all of history in the heliocentric model, that really doesn't make a lot of sense. And so from a flat Earth geocentric standpoint, everything falls into place. And it answers it really quite simply, Occam's razor answers all of these questions that are really left hanging around and explained away by theory in terms of the globe. So a lot of that theory involves gravity. There's conundrums involved with that, like which came first, the gravity or the sphere, which I did a video on.
That was a really good video.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it's not just one thing, and it's natural, and I would say you're probably crazy like Poncho Pete if you don't have any doubts. No, I'm kidding with you, buddy. But it's a natural thing to have doubts, and I think that it is proportionate to how interested you are in NASA and space and science. I mean, it's proportionally difficult with that. So I was from as long as I can remember, very into planets and not astrology but astronomy for my whole life. And so there's layers upon layers of theory that you really have to peel away and sort through and pour through personally. It's not just something nobody's going to tell you, hey, the Earth's flat, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, unless you're just very attuned to it. For me, it was something I was very incredulous towards, and I wanted to debunk it. And frankly, that's the sort of attitude people need to have, and not just debunk straw man arguments, but debunk the actual facts involved. And quite frankly, when the sun's coming up, the Earth should be racing up towards your feet like a bullet, only many, many times faster than a bullet, over 60,000 miles an hour. And 12 hours later, when the sun's going down, the Earth would be going down away from your feet at 66,000 miles an hour. And so that's a total acceleration of over 130,000 miles an hour. And frankly, we would feel that it would not be a fixed frame of reference as we're told by science. And so,
well, see, yeah, I hear you there. And what I look at is they say we orbit the sun, and the sun is moving, so it's moving forward, roundy round, do-si do, but yet we pass it, and then we go back the other direction. You know what I mean?
And so does the moon. Who's changing gears in the moon?
That means, what are they saying there?
Right.
It's all relative. There's no. That's what they're saying.
Well,
it's an oval shape. It's like what they call when they launch into orbit. They call it when they get the gravitational pull of a planet. They go around it.
A slingshot.
Yeah, slingshot. So we slingshot the sun. We get closer to it and further away. That means we have to be slowing.
Well,
and it's moving. The sun is moving. So we're speeding up to go in front of it, slowing down to get behind it, speeding up to go in front of it.
Yeah, there's the heliocentric model. It's that definitely applies to the moon, because the moon is supposedly adherent to the ecliptic plane, more or less. It's just supposed to be divergent by 5 degrees, which is not much. Now, the Earth going around the sun, they claim that the Earth's orbital path is 60 degrees offset to the galactic equator where the sun supposedly travels around. So it's not exactly the same with the Earth and the moon, but you're right. I mean, you still have this issue where the Earth would need to pass sort of down and in front of the sun at times, and then behind and above the sun at other times. And yeah, gravity doesn't explain this. You would have to you'd have to have a sort of a repelling force at times, an attracting force at times, and of course gravity is just an attracting force according to the theory. So yeah, I just wanted to make that correction, not to sound like a know-it-all, but I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what is the heliocentric version of this, and that's what it is. The ecliptic plane is offset to the galactic plane by 60 degrees, and the moon basically adheres to that same ecliptic plane that we orbit. So yeah, what you said exactly applies to the moon. It doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, that's where. I don't know.
Because for the longest, I wasn't sure, and it took a little research to figure out what they say. Because I figured it would either be the ecliptic plane was aligned to the galactic plane, or the ecliptic plane was like 90 degrees to the galactic plane. But no, they claim it's about 60.
I love how they think they know so much that they have no way of finding out and proving, but yet they throw the numbers out at us.
Yeah, that's right. And just more and more stuff comes up, like visible space itself should be contrary directions from summer to winter, and so we shouldn't have any of the same constellations from season to season, and yet we see all of the same constellations from somewhere on Earth all year round.
Sorry,
You've got things like that. You've got the full moon visible in broad daylight, which is categorically not possible because it should be on the opposite side of the Earth. And like I documented last month, 3% crescent moon visible well after sunset, a couple hours after sunset, which again, the crescent moon should be aligned almost perfectly to the sun at 3% illuminated. So yeah, I mean, it's just so many different things that all compile together, and they scream that the heliocentric model doesn't work. If we're not in motion, if there's no curvature, then what are you left with but a flat stationary Earth? You know what I mean? It's sort of a process of elimination.
Hey, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Hey, John. This is Mark from New York, Zulu One. We've never met. I know you know. Hi. I know you know Vincent and Poncho. I'm fairly new. I've been calling Mark Sargent just like Candy, and she couldn't be more right. I mean, it's inspirational listening to everybody, and you know what? Just get out here and talk to people, and if you hit one, great.
That's right.
I do have a question. Probably really couldn't answer, but I just wanted to say, you're one of the guys that got me into this.
Awesome.
You were the fourth person. I saw Crow 777. And it kind of was like, wait a minute, maybe everything is kind of fake. And let me look at this. I stumbled onto the clues. And then I went back. Actually, I was looking at Coast to Coast stuff, and I heard you. And I'm like, you know what? This guy sounds like a normal dude. Maybe this is serious. Just started looking at it. It's awesome. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah. No, I totally know what you mean. Like when I was first confronted with it, it was like, okay, certain things make sense, that makes sense, and then something that would come up would be like, okay, this sounds like a load of crap to me, and the cognitive dissonance starts to kick in, because it's much easier to sort of take the proverbial red pill and go back to sleep, go back to what we know, think we know, go back to what's comfortable. And you're right. I mean, it's an uncomfortable sort of thing that you have to decide to go on yourself, and you can't just take people's word for it. I mean, not really. You've really got to get out there and experience things for yourself and think things through for yourself. Do experiments. Read the books, do the research, and yeah, it's just so liberating, man. So I'm glad that I was able to help. So that warms me heart.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I have a strange question. Oh.
You all right, guys?
Man, I'm sorry.
You all right, everyone? Poncho, Vinny, Zulu, I haven't met you.
Yo, Spurs. Hello. Hello,
Okay.
Candy. This is Spurs.
Hello.
Andy?
Hello.
Spurs schema.
Yeah.
And just so you guys don't feel like any question is a stupid question. There's no such thing as a stupid. The only stupid question is questioning your question. I mean, you should never feel like it's a stupid question, because learning is always a great thing, no matter what it is.
I mean, I just wanted to ask Jonathan. I was just in a kind of debate with somebody, and they're adamant that they've been to the South Pole. So, I instantly dismissed him. Nobody's been to the South Pole. Doesn't exist. And he's saying, well, how would they fool him? How would they convince him that he's gone to the South Pole? So I was just thinking, what kind of, we know there isn't a South Pole. Yes?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we definitely have a North Pole in terms of a magnetic North Pole, and that's the direction that compasses face, even in the southern hemisphere, using a typical standard regular compass, right? But in terms of the South Pole, they've got ceremonial, like a literal pole in the ground, and they call that the South Pole. But it's not, it's not there's not an actual magnetic South Pole. Now, in terms of what it appears to be, it's more like a ring, like a disc magnet, which actually exists. A disc magnet would be found in pretty much any standard speaker. And the way that it works is you've got a central North Pole, and then the South Pole is every area around the outside edge. And the way that it works is you've got a magnetic vortex in the center, whichever way that's spinning, because a magnetic vortex will actually spin either clockwise or counterclockwise. Whichever way that is, the South Pole is going to spin in the opposite direction. And maybe spinning is not the best word, but they call it the centripetal and centrifugal forces, magnetic forces. And they're always opposite on a disk magnet. So, that makes a lot of sense in the flat Earth sort of cosmology. But in terms of somebody that's been to Antarctica, sure. Lots of people go to Antarctica, and they've got, like a ceremonial South Pole where you can go and take a picture and say that you went there. And I don't doubt that they did. But the problem is that the South Pole doesn't appear to be a continent on the bottom of the sphere. Now, whether the Antarctica envelops the flat Earth 360 degrees around, nobody knows for sure. It does appear that way based on all accounts of mariners who've done, far south polar excursions. They could never seem to make their way all the way around of it, even though they spent their lives trying. From what we can tell, it really looks like Antarctica encircles the entire world. Now,
not to mention that the UN flag is our flat Earth model, as we believe it may possibly be without Antarctica.
Yeah, but it's just this guy was adamant. He was, he wouldn't even let me speak, and I was trying to answer him on how he could have been fooled. He was like, no, how I couldn't be fooled. I flew south, I flew west. He was giving directions from. He was inside the, so I mean.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting you, John.
No, you didn't interrupt. You're absolutely right. There is, the ice wall around on that flag, but
all you got to do, Space, is stick a pole with the word South on it, and any academic mind's been to the South Pole, mate. That's how they did it. Space, simple.
Have you guys ever read Job 38?
Yeah, that's the one Antonio goes on about, isn't it?
There's a part in there where he says, "And I will break up from my decreed place." And if you read the context around it, he's talking about separating us from him, and that he has set bars and doors, and said, and then he said, "Hitherto shalt thou come, but no further. And here, thou proud waves shall be stayed."
Are you reading the actual verse, or is that?
No, he probably knows it.
No, I remember it. And then most people don't realize the very beginning of the Bible, it specifically says there was water before earth and light. No, the earth was here, but it was without void and form.
Yeah, without form.
It was without form and void, meaning it's not there. Without form and
you said
void.
20?
Well,
Job
sorry,
what?
I'll just
Job 38.
Okay.
Sorry,
yeah, it's a pretty short chapter. You're better off reading.
Just wanted Morgile's answer on how to answer if people say I've been to the South Pole.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that they have, or that they think they have. But the Antarctica exists. It's there. I mean, there appears to be, if you go south from any southern location, you're going to wind up in a sort of an icy wasteland. Usually, you'll find a very several 100-foot tall wall of ice, and then beyond that, there's mountain ranges. And so, you can really only get to Antarctica from one of three locations, really. That would be the southern portion of South America, the southern portion of Africa, or of course, Australia and New Zealand. Other than that, that's really where you're going to start from. Now, once you get there, you're not allowed to travel to any of the other outposts. You're pretty much stuck there, and that applies to people that have been down there with the military that I've talked to. That applies to people that have been down there on scientific, expeditions. Once you get to your location, you're basically you're shut in there.
Because in reality, your next base is 20,000 miles across.
Right.
If there are 3 of them, they're gonna be 20,000 miles apart. It's because the ring gets bigger.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's issues with the so-called flat Earth map, which is the azimuthal equidistant projection, or the AE projection. There's issues with it, but I believe it really seems the reason that there is such issues is because you've taken a flat world, assumed that it's a sphere, and then squished that hypothetical sphere down into a flat map. And so what you've got is it's similar to the Mercator projection in terms of this issue. The center of the AE projection is mostly correct, and usually you'll see the North Pole as the center. But whatever area is on the periphery or the circumference of that AE projection is literally allegedly skewed to infinity. It's a single point skewed to infinity on the AE projection around the outside, and that would represent the South Pole.
I can't wait until they get finished with this data that they're working on for this map.
Yeah.
In Antonio and them, I cannot wait.
And now, in terms of the Mercator projection, which most people are really used to, and this also applies to the Peter projection, the equator is mostly correct, but the north and south poles, the top and bottom of the Mercator projection, is a single point skewed to infinity, right? And so any flat map appears to be misleading. The globe is not accurate because, and neither are NASA's pictures, because they very much resemble what's on the Mercator projection. And it cannot be. That cannot be.
It's amazing how every time they come out with a picture, they change so much. The continent sizes have been drastically changed with the 2 pictures they've given us.
Right. And then you've got issues like Antonio was describing today, where his solar noon is, I think it was 25 minutes later than somebody that's 6 degrees east of him. So that doesn't make any sense on either model. And so what it really appears is that whoever they are, were excellent cartographers, which also includes a little bit of bullshittery, excuse the French. But if you read up on cartography, whatever they don't know for sure, they sort of fudge. And cartographers have also been known to add in islands that don't exist, canals that don't exist, as sort of a trademark, so that if anyone copies their map, they would know by the way that they put in the same, island that doesn't exist or whatever. And so cartography, you've got people like Gerardus Mercator, who's responsible for globes and AE sort of projections, but they were more artisans. It was very much an artistic expression as much as it was an accurate rendering of the face of the Earth. And so a lot of what we take starting with in terms of the matrix to create maps is latitude and longitude lines, which are based on observations of celestial objects over time. And it really appears that what we see in terms of lights from the sky are not necessarily what or where we think they are, due to things like magnetic birefringence and atmospheric refraction. And so it just seems like I don't know. It just seems like people have been misled, even though they've been very meticulous and scientific about it. If you go into this thing assuming that the Earth's a sphere, then you're going to have issues. And there's a lot to go into. It's nothing that I or anyone else can convince somebody, but hopefully we can make you think enough. And I'm not necessarily saying you, but hopefully we can make people think enough to where they want to go and look at this further, because it really does. It takes a personal decision to get into this, look at it. And I'm not going to say I know what the flat Earth map looks like, but I will say for 100% certain that the Earth is not a spinning sphere. And that's based on real data, measurements, repeatable experiments, and no theory whatsoever. So I call it the flat Earth reality and the heliocentric theory now, and hopefully that just little change in verbiage, if that catches on, might put things into better perspective. Hopefully.
Somebody asked us that I think yesterday, or no, it must have been the day before. I didn't stream yesterday. So you guys think that the Earth is flat and circle, and that was pretty much my answer. We think that, but the only thing we're definitely sure of is that it's not a ball, and we are not spinning and moving through space.
Mhm.
Everything else is not pure speculation, but it is. I mean, we've done a lot of research, and we have very good reason to believe that the things we believe, but none of us are 100% sure on anything, but we're not on a spinning ball.
Right, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another thing too, is the idea of infinite space goes out the window. I don't believe for a second that the Earth is a disk flying around in space. It really appears that space is just sort of a little secondary feature to the plane itself, and whether the area that we're in is a circle or a triangle or a parallelogram or whatever, we're really not sure.
But it's flat.
It's definitely flat. Water indicates that, because water is always going to be your true level. And it always remains level. It doesn't go around a curve, and so that's one of the biggest pieces of evidence. But I think that one of the biggest problems people have with accepting flat Earth is they try to take heliocentric cosmology into the discussion, and the two models are mutually exclusive. You have to sort of put away the globe, you have to put away infinite space, you have to put away gravity, just for argument's sake, and look at this totally differently. And I grew up watching Star Wars and all that, and unfortunately it appears that's just childish things for childish minds, but they've been using that sort of thing against us, and so we really can't blame people for buying into it. They present this sort of stuff as settled scientific fact, and most people just take science's word for it. Why wouldn't they? Right? Because science is supposed to be this sort of empirical, unbiased, skeptical hunt for truth. Yet when you get in the realm of theoretical astrophysics, it's literally the opposite of science. It's non-testable, it's non-falsifiable, and so it really lands in the category of pseudoscience when you're talking terms like light years, gravity, space-time, galaxies, all that crap. It just really goes right out the window, at least to me. I mean, I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, you're saying that we easily accept the world which is presented to us.
It's as simple as
That's the Truman Show. Stop reciting Truman.
You see, I knew Poncho would get it.
Yeah, well, there's like spaces out there now. Cara, Diane, Adrian, is that you, Adrian? It says that they've been to the South Pole. Well, all they have to do is stick a pole in the south, in the ice, and put South written on it, and you believe you've been there. I've seen lots of documentaries documenting people going to the North Pole. There's a big pole saying North Pole on it, and they think they've been to the North Pole. So,
yeah, no, totally. And the globe has the North Pole as a single point, the 90-degree latitude, I guess I should say, as a single point. But there is really good, historical evidence that people were going well beyond the 90-degree north latitude and finding open seas, and compasses stopped working. They weren't coming back on, the anti-meridian of where they started. And it appears that there's this area in the center. Now, I'm not going to vouch for that 100%, but there's people that have claimed to have gone up there. Now, if that's the case, then the whole map changes, because the 90-degree latitude is no longer a point. 90-degree north latitude is no longer a point, but it may be a ring or an oblong shape or something else. But when you realize things like that, and the issues with celestial lights are where we get our latitude and longitude lines, then to me it makes a lot of sense that we could get details or the matrix of the map wrong and still have maps that work. So for example, prior to Christopher Columbus's alleged discovery of the United States or America, whatever, they had maps that worked, although they were missing the entire American continent and many more things, and yet their maps still worked. And so to me, it's not inconceivable that there may be more land or other continents way out in the huge, massive
Pacific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Said it all along.
Yep. So
especially where Rand likes to put that marker on his bottle gloves. Rand, just left of Australia.
Yep, it's just a huge, vast expanse, and what it appears to me is that people that were circumnavigating way back when, after the 1500s and stuff, they would have probably been following along something like what you see on the AE projection in terms of an east-west latitude line as a curve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, nowadays, we're not going to use compasses and celestial lights to navigate. We're going to use GPS, which is ground-based or geo-positioning systems, and so we're going to go point to point. And with that being said, that leaves a lot of room for unexplored areas in the Pacific. At least it appears. Now, I'm not going to say the flat Earth hinges on that, but it's interesting to consider. And in fact, in terms of the edge, there doesn't have to be an edge. It could go on forever. There could be an edge somewhere past the Antarctic. Or it could be any number of things, but certainly no spinning sphere for sure.
Hey, John, I just rejoined. I kind of missed out on some of what you guys are saying. I lost my internet connection, but I wanted to get a chance to ask you a question.
Yeah.
This is from somebody who's listening. What is the simplest way to explain why the human eye can't see forever or further than it can, in your opinion?
It's a good question. It has to do with how our eyes work. I would say, take a look at perspective and how perspective works with our eye.
All lines converge and you have a vanishing point. It's that simple.
Yeah, it's based on your altitude. So if you're 6 foot tall, then your horizon is going to be about 3.5 miles away. If you're not, if there's no hills or valleys, so if you're looking out to sea or whatever, it's going to be about 3.5 miles. And the reason that happens is because our eyes are only capable of seeing certain acuteness of angles. Once an angular size becomes too small for our eye to render, then it simply vanishes, and that's where you get the vanishing point. And so why we can't see forever, I would say it has to do with the laws or operations of perspective and how our eyes work. We simply cannot see to infinity across the plane. Everything converges at the horizon. And even if something as tall as a skyscraper jutting up from the ground or the water moves beyond that point sufficiently, the operations of perspective dictate that it's going to shrink in angular size until your eye can no longer render it.
Atmospheric lensing.
Yeah, well, you've got that as well. But my best answer to that, to the question, the short answer would be study up on the operations of perspective, and then just do a little bit of research into how the human eye works, because that really solves it.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
My answer's simple too. You're not the bionic man. You don't have a bionic eye. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
John, I had a personal question, and I've been wondering this since I saw your video about your book that came out.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a second call from NASA, or did they ever come back and say anything else further? I wasn't listening if this was addressed earlier. I was kind of stuck outside my connection.
No, I never did. I don't think I may have gotten another call from that same number, but I didn't answer it. It may have been because the caller ID showed up funky. It may have been, somebody cloning the number or whatever. I don't know, but if it was them and they really were threatening me, it's not going to stop me at all. So never heard from again. And in terms of the book, my goal is to have it finished by May 31st. So that gives me a good 6-7 weeks to finish.
Well,
is that
great.
like a date for a reason,
Congratulations on
or
that.
is that just
That's my 15th anniversary.
Oh, as in like 15th anniversary of the truth seeking, or flat Earth is
Marriage.
With Mrs. Morgan.
Maui.
Oh, wow! Do I feel dumb?
No, you're fine. It was just sort of a convenient date because I've already got some like 100 and some odd pages done right now, and it's going well. But there's a lot of things going on. I've still got to pay bills, and so it's something that I have to do on like a couple hours in the evenings if I can, and then on the weekend. So if I was able to dedicate all of my time to it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I probably would have had it done by now. But you know, I'm taking my time, and it's a topic that, you know, I've been delving into pretty deeply for the last 2 years. So you know, I still have to research certain things, but a lot of this stuff I know off the top of my head. So it's not like the difficulty is the subject material. I mentioned earlier that the difficulty is more just remaining focused and keeping things in a linear fashion so that the reader would, you know, will remain interested in something that is, you know, it's definitely a scientific approach to this. It's not a sort of narrative or anything. It's just all experimental and observational stuff. So,
have you ever read Have you ever read Satanic Astronomy?
I have. It's
Yep.
fantastic.
Yep, I've got it on audio. I did an audiobook rendition of it. I've got it on my channel if anybody wants to watch it. It's a playlist. So
Nice.
Yep.
I'd like to ask you about like what other media do people find you on?
Pretty much just YouTube. Glowbusters on Sundays. I don't have a website. I don't have anything like that. So yeah, just YouTube right now. Facebook, John Christopoulos, and then the book.
Are you going to be talking with anybody else anytime soon to where like we could watch like the discussion that you're going to be having in the future?
Yeah, every Sunday at 3 Eastern, Glowbusters. Check that out. And then I do videos.
Somewhere?
Oh no, every Sunday.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I'm aware of that. Yeah, on Glowbusters. But do you have any other like? Is anybody going to be inviting you somewhere?
I hope so.
That's
We're doing the FE 2017 conference, so that's November 9th and 10th in Raleigh, North Carolina. That'll be it's actually a convention, so you can get your tickets. I think it's FE.
How many people's projected to go to that? Do you happen to know?
I think it's like 1,000. I think it's like 1,000, but
I know the
VIP is that all?
less than a week.
What's that?
The VIP tickets sold out in less than a week because I had planned on getting mine, the VIP ticket, and I had to get the I bought the early bird one or whatever, and my ticket was $109. But I think after so long they're going to go up to like 120 or something like that.
Well, it sounds like they went small on purpose just to see what the turnout would be.
They did, because when I was approached and invited, Robbie Davidson and Brian Mullen and Celebrate Truth Channel, I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head.
Brian Mullen will be there?
That's Robbie Davidson and Celebrate the Truth.
Yeah, Robbie Davidson, Brian Mullen, and then I can't think of the other guy's name. I watch his stuff all the time.
But John, I just wanted to let you know, like, you are welcome to come on here. I've been streaming every night pretty much, and I'm going to try to keep that up as long as I can. And if I can't do it every day, then at least a couple times a week. And you are more than welcome to come on with us anytime.
Sweet. Yeah, I did 2 seasons of a show, Static Plain Truth, which I did twice a week for a while, and then once a week. And it's something that you can talk about forever, but at the same time, there's we got other responsibilities too. But yeah, I'd be happy to come and hang out with you from time to time, sure. And to answer the question, yeah, Robbie, when I talked to him, they did sort of intentionally go small because they weren't sure how this was going to go. From what I gather, I really have no idea what's going on in terms of the setup or the funding or anything. I was just simply invited and that's it. But from what I gather, it's very expensive and time consuming, and they spent a lot of time on building the website, which is www.fe2017.com. And yeah, they just weren't sure how it was going to go. And so they didn't want to invest, because I told them, I was like, well, what if all 1,000 seats sell out in the first couple of months? Then are you going to do something bigger? And they said no. And that was an intentional decision. And I definitely understand where they're coming from. So I would just say that if you do want to attend, just get your tickets early because you get a discount. So.
Right, so you invite John back, but not Jeronism. That's just not fair, Candy. I'm way more famous than John is. Damn, I lost Jeron's face.
I have the app on my phone for the conference, so I'm checking right now, and I'm going to let y'all know how much the
are
the
they
regular
doing like
are when they stop being cheap. I mean, not stop being cheap, but the early bird special when they go back to regular price.
are they doing like cocktails afterwards or what?
God, I hope
Don't even
so.
get me started.
I really don't drink, but I probably like I drank on New Year's.
Right. I don't really drink either, but I'm gonna drink then. So anybody who wants to buy me a drink, I mean
Well, I mean, I don't drink anymore, but I don't drink any less either.
I used to down a 12-pack daily and then some, and I just quit one day, and I
Yeah,
really
well,
don't.
that sounds like that's a good thing, man. 12-pack a day, damn.
Yeah,
that's a lot of
That had to
beer.
be
I bet
hurting
you were
the wallet.
peeing a lot.
yeah. No, well, you know, I got a lot of Irish blood and Greek blood in me, so I'll be fine. But no, I drink on occasion.
No, I said that should have hurt the wallet.
Oh. No, I got Bush.
Oh yeah, I got the 30-pack.
Yeah, Colt
I drink some
45.
Bush from time to time, John. Are you
Yeah.
familiar with Natural Light?
Oh yeah.
And you're on the East Coast, right, in Florida?
No. I was reared in Florida. I was born in Virginia, grew up in Orlando, and then I live in South Carolina now.
Oh, cool. I'm on the East Coast myself. I'm in Massachusetts.
Ah, okay.
The reason why I asked for the cocktails is because of the price.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, they're not providing that. No.
I have no idea. I really have no idea. I don't even know if we're getting paid, what we're getting paid, or I'm not even sure if I have to pay for my hotel. So I just really don't know. Hopefully they'll buy me a drink though.
Maybe there'll be a continental breakfast, you know?
Yeah, oh
Free
sure.
Good drink, John.
It's at a nice hotel. So yeah, I think they'll probably have complimentary breakfast and maybe like a wet bar in the suites. I don't know. I'll be staying at the El Cheapo Motel. No, I don't know.
El Cheapo. Get the one with the pool table, man. Get the one with the pool table.
Nice.
Zulu, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I wanted to ask you, because I never even got to my question before. I wanted to ask you, I know it's an unanswerable question, but I think about it sometimes. I was curious, what do you think? How do you think this place was made? You know, I mean, they have a theory for the ball, you know, and I was just crossed my mind. I know it's, you know, bigger scope than what we really need to even know at this point.
Well, you know, that's a good question. No, I can't answer it, but you know, the Bible has a creation account that is way more plausible than what's purported by the heliocentric team. So I'll stick with that until something else comes. And you know, that isn't to say necessarily that flat Earth proves God in creation, but flat Earth certainly disproves the Big Bang theory. And so science or Lions has really tried. Yeah, they've really tried to stifle and reverse the creation account that's found right in the beginning of Genesis. And, you know, to me, the Bible was written in a context when everyone already knew the earth was flat. So it's not a real big surprise that they didn't go explaining that, you know, the earth isn't a spinning ball, because such theories, you know, hadn't even been introduced, you know, maybe a couple hundred years prior in ancient Greece or whatever, but the word hadn't gotten around and stuff. And so, yeah, I'll stick with
the disciples of Jesus, they thought it was flat. I mean,
yeah, they knew it was flat. Yeah.
A lot of people, when they think of Jesus, they just think of what they read. He was around friends. He was around campfires. He drank a little here and there. I'm sure he was asked about the heavens, the shape of the earth.
Okay, yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, but so I don't forget it again. The tickets to the conference are $109 up until April 20th. And the tickets include 2-day access pass to the conference sessions and events at a discounted rate for early booking. And then on only until April 20th. Well, that's weird. Okay, and then from April 20th to June 20th, it's another discounted price at $129. And then from June 20th to October 15th, they're $149. So
I think they're going to have a tailgate party in the parking lot. I don't think they realize how many people's going to go.
Oh, really? Sure. But then I didn't even know about this. I guess I didn't scroll all the way down. I just clicked on the ones that I bought. You can watch it online at home. I guess live for $17.
Oh,
Or
okay.
if there's a VIP online, which includes 2-day access pass to the conference sessions and events. And it says more details to be announced. So I don't know what the difference is, but yeah, you can even watch it at home live.
Sounds like they've done a lot of thinking and shit. They've done a lot of planning.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Hey, I wanted to say thank you, John. Thank you. And
Yeah.
I bought my VIP ticket that Saturday, and it was only like, they went like that. They were gone in a second.
Yeah, you know, I kind of figured it would go that way. That's why when Robbie had originally asked me or invited me, I had asked him the same thing, because I kind of figured that the tickets would go pretty quick, because this is one of those topics to where, you know, people are not just mildly interested in flat Earth. I mean, when you're a flat earther, it's like 100% all the way thing, right? You're not like, yeah, well, I think the Earth's flat, but I really can't prove it, sort of thing, like Shaquille O'Neal. This is something that is, you know, it's life changing, and so I would expect that, you know, what I told Robbie is we could probably fill 100,000 seats, honestly, you know, given this much time. But you know, I agree with the way he wanted to do it, and if this one goes well, then they'll do another one in 2018.
Awesome. Yeah, I paid for my room already. I'm squared. I just didn't even want to miss out, you know. Get to meet other humans face to face. This is awesome.
Yeah, like no lie, I was so scared because I had bought my tickets, but you know, I'm a single mom, and I knew there's no way I could afford to get the hotel room, so I'm crashing in Mark's room on the floor. I'm bringing me an air mattress. I don't care if I sleep on the floor, as long as I go. I'm good.
Yeah,
you got to be quiet. They're going to charge me.
No, I think you can have 2 adults in the room. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll sleep.
It's a free world to the flat earthers, so you'll be all right.
Yeah, and just so y'all know, if you do come to the conference, make sure if you're booking your hotel at the embassy is held, do it through the conference link website, because if you do, you save $50 on the room. They're $199 originally, but if you go through that link, you get a discounted rate at $149. Just so y'all know that.
Eek. Yeah, if Robbie or anyone hears this, I hope y'all are getting me a hotel room. That's like way out of my budget. $400 for 2 nights. I mean, nothing against that. The Ramada Inn and Suites. Is that what it is? Ramada?
Is the embassy?
Embassy, yeah. Okay, embassy.
But they have other hotels around the area that will probably be cheaper. The closest one is 3 miles. I don't think that's very far, but
you get that.
If
you save right now, if you save $50 a check, you'll have it in no time.
Hey, John, I got a floor.
Save $20 a check. You'll still make
a fork.
A floor.
Floor.
Sweet,
it's
yeah.
It's a lot of money, but it isn't if it's something you want.
No, totally. Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, you know, people spend a fortune taking their kids to Disney, which is just, you know, terrible. We all know about Disney, right?
My daughter's making me take her to Vegas.
There you go. Vegas is way better than Disney for children.
It's her 21st birthday.
No, seriously, I mean, I'm serious.
She'll be 21, man. She'll be 21.
Okay.
I'm only 37.
No, I was being serious though. I wasn't being facetious. Like, Disney is probably one of the worst mind control operations ever perpetrated on the world. Honestly,
right.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So
Disney is definitely evil.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Somebody's cutting out, and I don't know who it is.
It's probably me.
Look at their logo. It has 3 6s in their logo. It's crazy. I never believed it, and then you look at it, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Candy, I think this is the best I've been connected in a Hangout ever.
That you've been connected?
Yeah, I'm connected to 5G right now, and it's going great.
Oh.
All of a sudden, it started working after I dropped the first time. So.
Hey,
No,
can
you
anybody,
Real nice.
would anybody be willing to give me their interpretation of the mark of the beast?
like what we think it is going to be, or
Well, I mean, if it's the language Jesus spoke, or around that time and place, then 6, every letter corresponds to a number, and 6 is W.
yeah, the World Wide Web. I've heard a lot of people say that.
So
You know,
did
for
he
the-
already take the mark?
Well, there's that, and for the longest
He
time,
said it. He said it'll be in your right hand and in your forehead. So most people are right-handed. You got your credit card, your phone, whatever, and all the numbers are in your head.
well, and Revelation is where that passage is found, and it says that it's going to be the number of a man. And I haven't gone through and looked at the original language of that, because what I've found is the King James version of the Bible just has tons and tons and tons of really poor translations. And whether that was done intentionally or not, I won't claim to know. But the number of a man, you can't buy or sell save you have this mark. To me, that always really screams Social Security number. And so for all we know, we may have been living under this number of a man beast system for our whole lives, since the Social Security number came out long before most of us were born, I would say.
Well, when most people read it, they interpret on your right hand or on your forehead, but it specifically says in.
Right. And yeah, you've got a Social Security card. Keep it in your back pocket.
In your right hand.
You memorize it. Memorize it in your head. To me, it makes a lot of sense, but there may be, you see these implants coming out where they're sticking it in people's hands and arms. And, the prophecy of the Bible is probably, to me, the most convincing element of it, because there's a lot of stuff in there that is quite unbelievable. I mean, honestly,
it would make you interpret the beast as Rome, right? Rome.
Well, I mean, it's
the Pharisees convinced Rome, Pilate, to kill Jesus. You'll know them by their fruits.
Yeah, I mean, it appears, if you're going by Revelation, it's a beast with many heads, many horns, many kings, and so it's not just going to be one thing. I think Rome, Vatican,
the beast that is, yet is not, yet is.
Right.
So the Vatican, you're headed in the right direction. So you're thinking the same way as me. I was just wondering on the mark of the beast, because it'll be as in the days of Noah. So wickedness will be everywhere. We would already be deceived.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing. I mean, what other thing can you point to in all of history where the entire world was deceived? That wasn't even
the lies
possible.
and deceptions are everywhere.
There was nothing. There was no time in history where such a thing would be possible until about the last 100 years, because everything's come together. The world really has sort of shrunk because of communications and aviation and all of that stuff. And so, men traveling to and fro, whatever, large exponential growth in information, which we're seeing. And so, the prophecy of that is just too uncanny. And then, juxtaposing that with the mind,
and the knowledge will be increased is one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you must understand that Jesus knew that knowledge was increased every day, so he's talking about something big. Knowledge will be increased. He's talking about something big.
But a mark in your hand, he said
the existence of him, the flat earth. Either way, there's lies and deceptions right now everywhere. People could be led astray any direction they go.
But I interpret the mark in the hand or the mark in the head. That could be.
I look at it from
how you act with your hands and how you think in your head. That could also be the mark, right, James?
Right, in your head.
It might be those bio chips that they're trying to give. I heard that a company has already started giving it to their employees.
Yeah, and people are willingly doing it too. People are willingly putting that chip in they put it in between your thumb and your index finger, right there where all that skin is. Like if you just open your hand up to grab a Pepsi or a beer, you'll see that skin right there. That's where they put that chip between your thumb and your index.
Mark, what do you think about
That's where they put the chip.
what do you think the eclipses are? Like, what is your vision on that? Do you think that there's like an extra thing, an extra like a black object that we can't see, or?
You said Mark.
No, I said John. I don't
No,
know.
you said Mark.
Yeah.
You definitely said Mark.
I think you
Sure, I
say
thought you said Mark.
My
Mine
bad.
said-
We're talking solar eclipses.
Come on, Mike, where are you?
Right, eclipses.
Yes, I think it is another object.
I don't know. I mean, that's one thing that I still don't get in through all this.
Well, solar eclipses. Yeah, I mean, it seems like to me, it's very, very possible that it's the moon which is transiting the sun. Solar eclipses work much, much better in a flat Earth model where the sun and moon are local, relatively close. Whereas in the heliocentric
relatively
model,
the same size. Yeah.
I mean, it works much better. Now there are some theories involving, like Rahu and Ketu, which goes back, I think, to like ancient Mayan traditions, where there are these sort of, for lack of a better word, cosmic interlopers that transit the sun to cause eclipses. But to me, one of the conditions of a solar eclipse, whether it's a total or annular, is no moon phase. And that makes perfect sense. And we don't see it every month. They claim that's because of the moon's misalignment to the ecliptic. But, it makes perfect sense that only the no moon would eclipse the sun. And
There's records of the sun and moon. What is it? Yeah, the sun and moon being both in the sky with an eclipse.
right, that would be a lunar eclipse. They call it, that it happens so often, they have a word for it. They call it a selenelion. And so when you tell globeheads that, okay, if it's the Earth that's transiting the sun from the moon, casting a shadow on the moon during lunar eclipses, then how can it be possible to see the sun and the moon in the same sky during a total lunar eclipse? And people are like, no, that's not true. But science has a word for it. It's a selenelion. So yeah, it really doesn't match up with the heliocentric model. So in terms of a lunar eclipse, yeah, I mean, the idea of Rahu and Ketu makes sense. It could be certain conditions in the Earth's magnetic field, but we know for sure that it's not the Earth that is coming in between the sun and the moon. That's impossible.
Yeah. I don't want
John,
to
are
keep
there
bringing
any
up,
discussions
I don't
that are
want to
going to be
keep
going
bringing
on
up
about
spiritual.
the solar eclipse that's coming up?
Last night,
Are you guys going to be covering that?
I was on the phone with we were on a video, a hangout, me and Matt Clemens, and Kathleen was outside of his house, and he took, like, he turned his phone to the sky, and it should have been an eclipse the way it was. So this is what made me start thinking about it. He put the it's funny that as soon as I was talking about this, he just messaged. So Matt, if you want to jump on, the link is in the other group message. But he pointed his phone up to the moon, which was on, I don't know, just on this side of him, okay? And then it was right above the horizon, the moon. But then he put his phone towards the other direction, and the sun was right on the horizon. So technically, it should have been an eclipse, but the what we're taught what an eclipse is, but it wasn't. You could clearly see the moon and the sun in almost the same location on the right and left.
Well, I think at some point that would fit the heliocentric model, but
What's
I'm
that picture
definitely not
called?
defending it.
What's the picture called with a boat? The old picture. It's got the sun and moon in the sky. I can't remember who painted it either. It's doing me in. It's the name of a boat.
I don't know. That's like a famous painting or something?
Mm-hmm.
I may have never seen it before.
Now we got to start naming boats. Titanic.
No, it's an old
Mania.
one. I can't remember it. I'm going to find it now.
It is kind of a crazy coincidence that when you say heliocentric model, you say the word Helios.
Yeah, that's
the
where
ancient Greek sun god.
yeah, that's where they get it from. That's the whole thing.
The days of Egypt they're still here.
Babylon, by the rivers of Babylon.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, it really appears that the Earth is the primary object in all of creation, whatever you want to call it. And the scientists have convinced everyone that the Earth is, just a speck of dust, and it's basically sun worship. It really is. And so the fact that it's heliocentric goes back to Helios. Yeah, it's all right there in the etymology for sure.
Yeah, it's to this day right here, and nobody sees it, unless I'm just crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, we're all a little bit crazy.
This day. I mean, knowledge increases with both good and evil. So the evil, as in the Roman Empire.
What do you think the aurora borealis are? What do you think the northern lights are?
Yeah, to me it seems like ionized gases, but which all that is electrically charged gases, but there are parts of science that are legitimate. To me, it's just when you get out into the theoretical stuff to where it's again, it's pseudoscience because it's just based on theory, and you can't test any of it. Nobody's ever going to fly 93 million miles to the sun and check it, even if that was the case, even if that was true. And so, things like
I got something on this topic. If anybody would be willing, because I'm on a phone, if anybody would be willing to screen share, you just type in magnet, and I think it's iron. And you'll see the stars. You got to click images. Scroll down till you see what would look like a flat Earth. The stars rotating this way over here, opposite over here, and the same thing that we see on the top.
What are you? Magnet?
I don't know. It's just something I happened to look at, and I was like, wonder if anybody's ever thought of that.
Magnetic what? What is it?
Just type in magnet space iron and click images.
If I could just make a quick announcement, Candy, I just added Matt Clemens to the call. So Matt, if you're
I already added
with me, yeah, he's been added to the call directly, so you can just join through invite.
Oh. Well, I was doing it at the same time as you. I sent it to him and just a private message.
Got you covered.
Thanks.
If you scroll down, you'll see how the iron moves on one side in one direction, the other side another direction, and across the top, in between, in other words, you'll see how they scatter. I think you got to scroll down like, it's not too far, black and white.
Oh, you get into.
If you point your camera to your screen, I'll show you. I mean, it's kind of crazy. If you look at it and think of what I'm trying to say, you might be like, that's silly. You can see it.
And I'm sorry, like, it's going to sound really bad, but I was in the middle of doing something and I still have it. Magnet space, what?
Magnet space iron.
Okay, sorry.
You got to click images after. Anybody else see that? Morgile?
I'm showing it. Oh no, there's the ship. Hang on, that one.
All right, now start looking for one that represents the stars on a flat plane. Look at that one right there where your mouse was. Yeah, right there.
That one.
Or down one, or even down one. And you'll find more. You'll find more.
Oh yeah, you mean how they turn in
so
rotation?
You got the flat plane, the opposite rotation, and the straight center ones.
You got
magnet
space iron and stars. That's what I looked up and brought up a lot of.
Hey, Candy, your mic's doing the same thing it was doing earlier.
Yeah, I think you got something open.
Well, I had the web browser open and I just closed that. So does it sound any
When you
better?
went to search,
No, you sound totally like a robot, and you got a feedback. Are you using Skype or other Facebook, whatever?
No, I just closed Facebook. Let me close the search bar that I was using. Now, if I close my YouTube watch page, because I have the pop-out chat open, will it close my pop-out chat too?
Whoa, I cannot hear you anymore.
Okay, John.
you opened too many pages.
Okay. How about now?
Your bandwidth at the top, have you turned that down? Because it's on 4 when it should be on about.
Before it was like in your audio settings on the Hangout itself, maybe it reverted to default again. I don't know.
Okay.
What do you guys think of that? I actually never looked into it or anything, but
How about now?
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yep.
I put it back on default.
Brilliant.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense in terms of the magnetic fields. Like I was saying before, if you look at a disk magnet, which exists in reality, by the way, ball magnets do not, and nor does lava. Molten lava does not produce magnetic fields either. So disk magnet makes a lot of sense. And yeah, you've got counter-rotational vortex, where you've got your centrifugal and centripetal magnetic forces, and they spin in opposite directions. So the center of the magnet, the magnetic forces will spin one way, whether it's clockwise or whatever, and then the exterior will spin the opposite direction. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And we know that the Earth has a magnetic field, or else compasses wouldn't work. And again, it just works so much better in a flat Earth model, because even in the far southern hemisphere, a regular compass points to the north.
so you've actually already went through all this? You've with the magnet and the iron there? Or is that something? That's great.
I'm sending Brian and Wes the link on Skype. That'll be the easiest way they'll get it.
Wes has been added. Brian, I don't have as a contact on Hangouts.
Okay. I just sent it on Skype.
Hey, John, I wanted to ask you, were you aware of Antonio Subarat's sun tracking experiment that happened last weekend? And did you happen to catch any of
that? Not last weekend. I heard about it, and then we did some of it today with Bob and Cammie, and they were in Colorado. I was here in South Carolina, but yeah, so really interesting stuff, and they're coming up with results that are just really wild. I think that the sun stayed perfectly in the same spot at solar noon for, was it 55 minutes today?
That was a long time.
Yes, 55.
And you know what? I was watching a video on YouTube of it was a full solar eclipse, because I have never seen one, and because we have one coming up, I said I want to know what it looks like. And I noticed during that once the sun was completely covered, it stayed there. Like it stayed there for a few minutes. Like it was moving the whole time, and then it stopped, and then it started moving again. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's weird, because it doesn't really make sense in either model.
Right.
But the thing is, with the heliocentric model, they claim to have everything figured out to the umpteenth decimal point to a T, and all of the values that they claim have to be exactly what they say they are in order for their model to work. That's the beautiful thing about flat Earth, is there's things that we will claim, hey, we frankly don't know. And one example of that would be, what is the sun and what are the stars? The best answer is we don't know. But a heliocentric team says, well, it's hot atomic fusion.
The only thing we do know is they're nowhere near as far as they say they are.
Yeah, that's apparent. And they say it's hot atomic fusion. but they can't demonstrate hot atomic fusion. It's nothing. It's just theoretical, even that. And frankly, if they could demonstrate hot atomic fusion, they could no way correlate that to the inner workings of a star. So, to me, it's much better to say we don't have an answer for that than to make something up and to push it on toddlers, right? But yeah, the stars couldn't be as far as they say, because they get the distances, like to the sun, for example, with the assumption that the Earth is a sphere, triangulating on the sun using spherical trig. And you'll get this wild distance to the sun using, Eratosthenes' method. But if you assume the Earth's a plane, then you get a much more close sun, and the numbers work totally differently. But you can plug the numbers into a sphere or into a plane.
Copernicus said it was, I think, if I remember right, he said it was 3 million miles away, and then it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it went from 3 million to 50 million to 90 million to 103, back down to 93. So they haven't really been able to stick on anything for long. I mean, the consensus has been an average of 93 million miles to the sun. But, again, that's based on this premise, this preconceived notion.
But of your knowledge, that's correct. Copernicus said it was like 3 million?
Yes, that's right.
John, if I could ask you another question, is anybody preparing anything for the solar eclipse that's coming up? I guess in like the western United States, you're going to be able to see it really well.
In August?
The details. I guess it's August. Yeah, I haven't looked ahead in the calendar, but I've never seen one personally, and I think it's the. Sorry, Candy. I just want to say I think it's the first time in like 38 years that it's happened.
A total solar eclipse happens every 40 years, and it's on August 21st this year.
And when was the last time
I had to walk away for a second.
Well, if you count up total and annular eclipses, not necessarily just visible from the U.S., but from anywhere in the world, what was really staggering to me, if you look at the number of solar eclipses and lunar eclipses, they're roughly the same. I want to say it was something like 128 lunar and 130 solar over 100 years from somewhere on the Earth. And that just really doesn't agree with the heliocentric model, because it really seems as if the moon, if you humor the heliocentric model, the moon should be eclipsed by the shadow of the Earth very, very frequently. Yet it would be like threading a needle to get the moon to perfectly eclipse the sun from some vantage point on Earth. And so the fact that you see roughly the same number of solar and lunar eclipses over 100 years is another good piece of evidence against the heliocentric model. So, it's just thing after thing after thing that you look at it, it just becomes, you have this.
They changed the time to the sun. They changed the time to the sun. It was like 5 days or some shit. It's crazy. They had on average, and Jesus kept track of time with the Looney calendar. It never changes. It's consistent.
That's how time was kept.
Changes. So he kept track of time with the Looney calendar, which on average, it is stated on average is 360 days. We're 365 with the leap year. But either way, you're losing so many days. You've already lost the true biblical days. He says that man will seek to change the time, as in calendar, and laws, as in the 10 Commandments. There's only one place that's done that. The Vatican. In concert with Rome, changed the calendar.
I'm going to change the calendar. Don't worry, James. I'm changing it to a concave calendar.
If you look at the Roman Catholic Church or the Vatican 10 Commandments, you will not find "Thou shalt not worship any graven image." It will not be in there. So they changed the times and the law. And they have deceived many.
Well, John, I don't know if you were supposed to answer that like a question, but
it's crazy if you. That's what the flat Earth's revealed to me as scripture.
Yeah, I mean it's really weird because you know, assuming everything's correct in terms of the lineage of history, which to me that's not 100% sure because of, I mean, just little things that they've changed in history, and I'm not talking about the Mandela effect, but I'm talking like literally changing history books. One example would be George Washington was the eighth or ninth. Well, he was the eighth president, but there were 8 presidential terms prior to George Washington under the Articles of Confederation in the Continental Congress. And so we never learn about this in school. And yet there these guys are. I mean, you can find it even on Google, but most people don't know that there were 8 presidents prior to George Washington. And so, you know, if they can change recent history, you know, relatively recent, the last couple hundred years, then, you know, it's totally possible.
They can change it all.
Change it all, right. But just assuming for argument's sake that that's, you know, history is all true and the lineage or the linear time frame that they've got is relatively correct. What they've done in terms of the biblical prophecies is just really quite uncanny. Just everything that's sort of lining up in this day and age. And yeah, in terms of changing the time.
I mean, what I was getting at is, you know, even though I think that we don't even know the true biblical days, you know what I'm saying? The feasts and all that. We don't, that's all long gone because they changed the times. But it changed everything. Everything is lost. It's gone.
It'll be in the bowels of the Vatican, James, I think.
It's all gone. Yeah, I mean,
in the library.
They got the, what do they call it? The secret archives.
Yeah,
the Vatican is the richest organization in the world.
Yeah, because
between
it owns all the birth certificates,
gold relics, and history written.
Don't forget about the papal balls,
gems, all the precious stones.
Whoever was talking, it was cutting out.
It's the beast that is, yet isn't, yet is.
Can y'all hear my phone keep vibrating?
Rome carried the eagle, the bald eagle, into battle. America represents the bald eagle, or the bald eagle represents America. It's the only 2 identical flags in history.
Well, and what's interesting is that it really appears that that's
the Roman
phoenix,
or the beast that.
Wherever you see that bald eagle, it's actually the phoenix, and the whole thing with the Illuminati and the Masons is you know, order out of chaos, and so their whole MO is to destroy nations by whatever means, and then rebuilding those nations out of a chaotic state under their control. And you know, it really appears as if they, whomever they are, have been doing this throughout history, and they're really masters at this. And so they have to use deception. I mean, it's one of the biggest motives, I think, for the lies about the earth.
Did the flat Earth bring you to the Knights Templar, or?
No, I mean,
it brought me to where he says, "You'll know them by their fruits." So their fruits meaning, who killed Jesus, and what are their fruits?
Right. I mean, you definitely got like Roman Catholicism. It appears as if they co-opted Christianity, which was a grassroots movement, probably very different than what we have today in terms of Catholicism, Orthodoxy, and evangelical Protestantism. Right. But yeah, it just appears that Rome took the grassroots sort of burgeoning movement of Christianity and co-opted it so as to control it. And so we're left with the King James version of the Bible, which, I mean, just in my little, very slight moniker of research into the original language, I've just found so many inconsistencies that, you know, I think the King James Bible.
Well, yeah, there are. I'll agree with you on that. But it's also the most consistent of all translations.
Well, I mean, there's parts of it that are accurate, and I won't say how much is and how much isn't, but there's a lot that's very, very.
No, I mean, if you look at the new version and you compare it to the King James, it's like, wow, you could take that many different ways.
Yeah, I mean,
many different ways. The King James is the greatest translation. Whether that king was a lot, there's speculation there, but whether he was evil or. You got to remember, it takes a certain heart to be king.
Well, how can you take the idea of an expanse and change that into firmament? That's what it says right in the beginning. And so when I
The
see
King
things
James
like that,
Dictionary says firmament. Now you're gonna find this crazy. I don't know if you'll believe me or not, but when I first I was in the flat Earth. I don't know if you know who Richard is. He lives in Thailand. I was in the flat Earth a long time ago, and
Dickie Garnash.
yeah. But shit, now I lost the train of thought. I apologize.
You was on about Richard in Thailand and the definition of firmament. You was going somewhere else with another name.
Yeah, the King James Dictionary specifically said when I first typed in King James Dictionary, it said firmament. When you type in firmament, when you get to the King James Dictionary, and it says sky, heaven, vault, dome.
yeah, it's extremely misleading. That's my point.
If you type it in, whether you believe me or not, type it in right now. You will not see that. You will kind of vaguely. I seen all this shit, and there was nothing I could do. I had to record it at the time I seen it for anybody to believe it.
And just as I fell into flat earth and started reading the scripture, I was playing a game called Destiny, and when you got to the last level, it was called the Vault of Glass. And when you looked up, there was glass holding it all together.
Yeah, his throne. I mean, there's numerous scriptures that says that the throne is upon a sea of glass, and that the heavens are strong and as a molten looking glass. So his throne is if it's a flat plane, infinite, and the firmament is a flat plane, infinite, everything's just working in it. I mean, how can you say that? I don't know. The only way you can say it is by using
pleasure. I just got to say my goodbyes to everybody. It's been great. Poncho, Vinny, Zulu, Khan, Justin, Morgile, James, and of course Candy. Thank you very much. I'll catch you there.
Thank you for coming out here with us.
It was nice chatting with you.
May Bruce Almighty be with you, Spurs.
See you tomorrow, Spurs.
I'm sorry, guys. I was rambling on there.
I know. It was fine, James. You unvented for a while.
Well, I was trying to, when I was talking about the Knights Templar, if you research them, there's some Knights Templars that are unaccounted for. And I believe they came here. They brought the Republic with them.
You think who? I'm sorry.
The Knights Templars.
Oh, okay.
On the Crusades.
Mm-hmm. I think that America is actually will be the new Babylon. I think there's so many. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but looking at everything, I feel that.
Yeah, it's another one of those really just uncanny things where, again, if you agree with the timeline of the Bible, they called this place Mystery Babylon, which basically translates to a place that they didn't know of, but the prophets knew of it. And America wouldn't be discovered for another 1,500 years. And look at the direction the country's gone to. Things are getting pretty bad, and just the fact that it was written down in a book, even if it was 500 years ago, or 2,000, whatever, it's just really uncanny. It makes you think, but yeah, no, definitely, I agree. It seems that that America fits all of the descriptions of Mystery Babylon.
That's what LSC's website is.
Then you have, like you were saying earlier, the Mandela effect. Got the flat Earth. Got the 9/11. You got scripture saying that anything hidden shall be known and come abroad. There's nothing that is hidden that shall not be known and come abroad. So and then you also have God speaking, saying, in the end times, I will pour out of my spirit on all flesh. And that's what I think is going on. He is pouring out of his spirit on all flesh.
I do believe you're right.
Yeah, it's that whole Mandela effect.
It could be man-made.
Delusions. He will send great delusions for the unfaithful, to where they will believe a lie. This delusion, the great delusion, is the moon landing.
Or the flat earth.
I think the Great Deception.
That prophecy was fulfilled on the moon landing.
I honestly believe that the Great Deception they talk about, it might just be that globe.
Yep, I totally agree.
I put that as my Facebook status a lot. What did you say?
The greatest deception is still to come. That's what it reads. It reads the Great Deception.
Oh, it's already been fulfilled. That's how far along we are.
We're in the final hour. We're in the final minute, James.
Yeah, it's coming at any. He's knocking at the door.
I mean, there's another Great Deception. I mean, I know I've been feeling that the Great Deception is the globe, but I know they're coming up with another one that they're trying to throw aliens in our face. And I honestly believe that's to cover up the fallen angels. I think that something big is about to happen. And I mean, it used to be so crazy.
That's the pouring out of the Spirit, though. That's the pouring out of the Spirit. He's pouring out of his Spirit.
Think about
all flesh. He's opening the minds.
I don't know. I think about how crazy it used to be to talk about aliens. You say that there's aliens or a UFO or something, and you were shunned. You were crazy. You were everything that they're calling us flat earthers now. But now it's like it's a thing, and it's not crazy at all. It's they're trying to say that they've made some kind of communication or contact with aliens, and there's just so many things that are so public now that I believe that it's mind control. I believe that they're preparing us for something and using that as, like I said.
Well, I've heard of that one where they're gonna represent the Nephilim as aliens. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
The fallen angels.
Right. That's what I believe.
But the fallen angels they're already here.
Not so much them, and no, I know that. I mean, it's God, or the Book of Enoch said that they will be here for 70 generations, and then they will be cast into the lake of fire for eternity. But I mean, we don't know what them being here entails. Like, we don't know what it means that they're here. I know they're here, and I don't just mean the 200 fallen angels. I mean the rest of it too. I mean, I believe
the days of Noah, they mated with the fallen angels mated with the daughters of men.
Right.
And everything else.
So that means you have the number that fell and the offspring.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're saying there, but I think that's amongst us already.
No, I do. I know that they're here already, but what I'm saying is,
they position themselves in high places already.
What I'm saying is, I think that it's about to be different. Because it's the end times, I feel that things are going to get bad, and they have to find some explanation for what's going to happen, because obviously they don't want us to believe that what the Bible says is any kind of truth at all.
Well, Jesus says he'll come. I mean, the scripture says, Revelations, Jesus will come with the sword in his mouth, meaning his mouth, his word will be his weapon, his tongue. Okay, so think of that. Now, the word will be known. The truth will be, whatever is hidden is going to come abroad.
And that's another thing.
So the word alone will come with power and great glory.
Right. It's supposed to be a time of revealing, I think that eventually, and I think that's another thing about the flat earth that's happening right now. Things are coming out in the open that have never been. you know, he says that in the end times, all things will be revealed. And I think that the flat earth thing is part of that.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
I've got to go to sleep, guys. Okay. Okay.
Good night, man.
Good night.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Poncho.
Yo.
Good night, Poncho.
Now, you here?
See you tomorrow morning.
It was awesome talking to you.
Time check.
Well, remember, Vinny,
19.
you've got to put the monkey outfit on and go and bang on Zane's window, okay?
I will.
That was so crazy how as soon as Vincent said his name earlier, he popped in the chat. I mean, as soon as he said it, he must have been watching the whole time.
Summoned. Right, I'm out of here. Laters.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in 2 hours.
Yeah, Candy. So it's 9:15. I just want to give you a time check of where we're at. And
oh yeah. So do you guys want to go?
Want to go with this next? I think John had something to say.
Mark.
Do what?
Mark. Zulu.
Yes. Sorry.
Do you want to stay here? Or do you want to go to your channel?
I could start it now if you want.
Okay. Mark wants to he wants to stream tonight because we have a plan for
later.
We're gonna prank somebody.
We're gonna prank somebody.
If y'all want to see that, you better come over there with us. It's gonna be funny.
John, I hope I didn't break your concentration there. I apologize.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, we were supposed to cut the stream at 9.
That's okay. You got time.
But I'm probably at midnight when Mark's show's over on TFR. I'm gonna start another one. So I'm gonna send the link out. To y'all. John, do you want to come back over?
I'll probably be in the bed by midnight, but yeah, I will try to see what's going on with the prank. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Can I do something?
You can always do something.
Yeah, we want to help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I'm a huge prankster. I love to prank people, and like even my kids, I'll do some crazy things to them, and I record it. But like, I'm.
When you go off live, we'll fill them in.
Hey Zulu, can you make sure to add me to that conversation if you don't mind having me there?
Yes, that's why I'm starting in now. Of course. No, Carl, I can't stand you. You
I know. I
already
told him that he was gonna be invited to that.
All right. Just trying to be polite.
No way.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Bye.
Thank you, Vincent. If you want to come, you can come over. I'll send you the link.
Vincent's a good man.
I love Vincent.
Me too.
I love him more.
No homo. I forgot to say that. No homo.
Oh, come on.
All right, a little homo, okay?
Soul love, man. Not body love.
There you go. Thank you. You know, I've been wanting to tell you this since I first heard your voice.
Oh, yeah?
I love your voice. And I even told my wife, I was like, I met this woman and I love her voice. You just are so calm and soothing. I swear, you could be disciplining me and tell me I screwed up, and it's just so relaxing.
Why didn't Flip come in the he just texted me and yelled at me for saying what I said, and I just wanted to let people know that we were gonna have a good show. That's why I said that, Flip. And but nobody knows who and what we're doing, so calm your nerves. Calm down, Charlie Brown.
Thanks, honey. Hope your wife was okay with it.
What's up with the prank?
Oh no, she's totally cool. She loves that I found other people who are as insane as I am.
You have to come over to Zulu's channel to find out about the prank.
Well, see, if you don't mind, send it in the Google Hangout. I'm on a phone, so it's real quick and easy with the Google Hangout.
Just if you come over, I think we might have a full panel already over there, but I can send you.
That's fine. I'll hang out.
I can send you you can either go to truthfrequencyradio.com or you can come. I can send you the link to the watch page for Zulu, but you got to give me your email address or something because I don't have you in my Google Hangout. contract.
Yeah, what's easy?
I'm posting the link to the channel in the chat.
And there you go.
I believe that's it.
What in
Yeah,
life?
so everybody-
Hey, where's Tim Osmond so I can give him the Hangout link?
Yeah, brilliant.
Oh, he doesn't exist. He's
Too funny. The very first time I ever streamed, we got hacked. I was talking to Mark Sargent too.
Yeah.
It was, I don't get it. I don't get it.
No. Benny said, "Don't use the word hack. Use snipe."
Actually, I think
Sorry, snipe.
Smart.
I think you do get it. Tim Osmond.
Oh yeah, well,
you know what he does. You do get it.
Yeah, I guess I do. That was that was the CIA operative, correct? Osama bin Laden.
You're a 33-degree Mason, boy.
Oh God, that's right.
Nothing wrong with since if you research Illuminati, they infiltrated the Freemasons, and they admit it.
Going back to sorry.
They used the Freemasons to make the Freemate. They put the eye on them.
Did you already make
the society within a secret society?
Yeah, I just posted the link in the chat. The side chat.
All right, y'all. I'm killing it. Thanks for everybody who came.
Awesome.
Love you all in the chat.
Sorry, thanks for having me. I had a blast.
Pizza as always.
Thanks, Candy.
Hey, peace out, y'all.
Thank you. I love you.
Hey, John, thanks.
Thank you so much for your time, John. I really enjoyed talking to you. I swear you're one of the people that motivated me.
John, ask these guys, like, whenever you sent me that message on Facebook with your phone number, I was like, I called all of them.
And you don't have to leave.
Guess what?
Well, I do that out of laziness, really, and not to make you feel any less special, because I don't give out my number to everybody, but I just I can't keep on top of emails and everything. So yeah, just call me. Call me.
Call me, maybe.
You don't have to leave. You can join if you like.
I got to talk to the Morgile way. But yeah, I appreciate you, everybody, really, because if it was just me talking, you see, sometimes you just don't know what to say. Everybody has input and something to say, and it helps. So I appreciate everybody who came.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, thanks,
John.
for
If I could, sorry, James. I'll give you a second right after this. I just want to say, John, I went from being an average person a couple weeks ago to now suddenly being a shill in a in a hangout.
I'm a shill too. I'm a CIA agent. I'm a NASA person. I'm everything.
I hear you. I want my check.
It's interesting how
both of us. They put like all of a sudden. Me and Carl never knew each other before. Wednesday, and now all of a sudden we work for the same agency. Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everything in the book, but no contract. No
money.
Money.
Where's my money?
Yeah, no, it's crazy because, I mean, this is obviously something that's grassroots, is something that's coming from people's hearts. And, you know, we're going to make mistakes. We might get a couple things wrong here and there. But at the end of the day, we're doing this for the truth. We're doing this to try to help people, you know, wake them up from really the matrix, I guess, is the best analogy. And, you know, you're going to catch flack. You're going to lose friends over it. You're going to estrange yourself and alienate yourself from people. But, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, if I had to do all over again, I wouldn't change a thing, you know. So it's really great.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where people that are trying to meet each other that all have a common interest tend to not really trust each other at first. And it's hard to come to a common agreement of whose opinion is what, and you end up with people arguing with each other within the same movement. And it's,
what do they say? Truth sounds like hate. Truth sounds like hate.
You missed
for those
it.
that hate the truth.
I had a rant the other day about all of that, calling people shills and everything. It's really sad, but I'm tired of defending people. But so now when it came to the point where I had to try to defend myself over it, I was done. I said, you know what? I'm tired of it. Don't bring the drama to me about I'm a shill and or somebody that I listen to and respect is a shill or an agent. So what if they are? mean,
Yeah.
let's just say the Morgile's getting paid by the CIA to tell us this stuff. It's not coming out of my pocket. Who cares? He's still giving us the information, you know?
I wish, and if the CIA's out there listening, I come pretty cheap, honestly.
But I'm sorry. Paul, you could go ahead. I'm sorry for
Crazy. Candy, when we got off the other night, as soon as we hung up, a phone number showed up on my phone and rang, and it said Washington, D.C. It freaked me out.
What?
I answered it, but nobody answered.
Wow, interesting.
Oh, did you see the screenshot I texted you earlier, Carl?
Not yet. I'm gonna be taking a
Okay,
look.
you gotta look at that.
I'm on the phone, so it's tough. Can't see both.
I'll send it to the Hangouts too instead of a text. But I'm sorry for cutting you off. I know you were saying something to John.
I mean, I guess my only point was there's a lot of people looking for truth and just asking questions, and sometimes people decide other people are creating misinfo or disinfo, and they're trying to distract or convince people of purpose, and that kind of doesn't go anywhere. It just makes people not trust each other more, and it takes more than one person to figure something out usually.
Yeah.
Right, more brains together. We can. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it seems like, I don't know, and I'm not going to name any names, but it really seems like there was almost intentionally created division or just sort of opposing views.
We already know what name you're saying.
Well, then, you've got sort of more well-known things like the Flat Earth Society that are misinformation. They're there to sort of keep people from looking into Flat Earth by making it seem silly and ridiculous. And then you've got these sort of cults of personality built up around people and egos involved. And, that's something that I really try to stay away from the beginning. Is just, I really just wanted to know the truth. And once I learned it, I wanted to share it with people. And it's not about, me. It's not about the messenger. It's not about money. It's not about anything except for just, really wanting people to understand that they've been lied to about pretty much everything. I mean, I call it the Santa Globe because it's about, about the same thing, only nobody ever told us it's not real.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I share something with you guys that I thought of the other day?
If it's real quick, because we got to jump over to the other channel.
All right. Whether one is guilty or guiltless, either way, nobody needs to know, for they themselves know. This is the knowledge of good and evil, and leaves us all without excuse.
That's true.
Yep.
I like
Awesome.
it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm learning. I left the church when I was 8, so I have no idea. I'm 50, and I'm just trying to learn this stuff again, or for the first time.
Myself, Zulu, I don't have much of a religious background, and a lot of this is just trying to answer questions for me.
But guess what?
I don't know one thing here or there about religion, so.
He don't have a religious background, but believe one thing, he's gonna have a religious front ground, because I'm about to start learning him some things. Me and Carl are about to have a Bible study.
Funny.
We gonna love on him.
What's the word I'm looking for? Regularly. Why I couldn't think of that word, I don't know, but I told him I will. If I don't succeed, I'll be surprised, but I'm going to convert him into a believer.
Well, it looks like I got homework now.
We'll see. We will see. I do believe we were made. There's no doubt.
He'll come around.
Did that hit anybody with meaning there? Or
Oh, it
you
did.
guys get?
Very true.
Yeah.
Hey, John, it was great that you came on here.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun hanging out with you guys, man, for sure. Anytime, I don't know about every day. I wish I could, but yeah, I can come and hang from time to time.
I know, because I'm like, this is the only time I've ever had a short stream. They're 8, 6,
True.
Yeah.
5.5 hours. Smallest one I've ever had. Like,
Yeah, Jonathan.
and then we get John on here, and we have a short stream, but it's okay because Tuesday nights are going to be probably pretty regular
I'll be
that
right
I
back.
don't because of Mark.
It's a
Mark,
pretty relaxed
start.
group, John. We just kind of let the time go and not really.
Yeah, we had a good panel.
you know how it's tough to make a certain conversation happen, so we kind of just let it happen. But
Yeah,
it's all
definitely.
opportunity.
And sometimes we have people who don't let other people talk, and that's kind of
Mostly really good people, though.
yeah. No. I didn't mean that in a bad way. And it's not very often that it happens, but sometimes, when you're in the heat of a passionate conversation, it's hard to get to somebody else, That's why a bigger panel is sometimes difficult because of that. Everybody wants to say something. And it's like by the time 10 people talk about one thing, it's like nobody really wants to talk about that anymore,
But yours goes pretty well. You don't have too many people talking over each other very much.
Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it happen, and it gets ugly. So I'm very thankful. Like the people that I've met, and I call y'all my crew.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for every single one of y'all. Like y'all have no idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and thanks to everyone that came and listened in the live hangout, and thanks to all the panel members. Y'all are great. Some familiar faces, met some new people. So yeah, just invite me, and I shall come from time to time.
Yay.
I'll just start sending you the link on Facebook, and if you want to come over, if you have time, then
Sweet.
calm down.
Hey, from me and from everybody listening, thanks, John. I know a lot of the people in the chat, and I'm pretty sure they're happy to hear you. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Good to meet you. Good to meet all y'all. Awesome. Good company, man. That's one thing about flat earthers. They really, it seems to be good, honest people, just really concerned with the truth. And it really, it warms my heart to see this thing getting bigger and bigger, because just a couple years ago, it was nothing like this. And so it's a much more welcoming community than it was, so.
Yes.
Just give glory to God.
Yep.
Sorry to preach.
No, I'm not religious, but I'm Christian.
All right.
I call myself a Bible believer. I don't associate with a religion.
What do you think, Candy? What do you want to say to close this out?
Until next time. I mean, I don't know what else to say. We're about to just jump this conversation right on over to the other side. So everybody in the chat, not the hangout, but the watch page link. Everybody come on over there and subscribe to his channel and come watch us prank somebody y'all all know. That's all I'm going to say.
Give us a few minutes.
Yep. I think he's already made it. So I'm going to hang up this call. And Carl, I text you that link.
Hey, are you closing down now, Candy?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to say thank you again, John. I really appreciated your time and talking to you. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Awesome.
Cool. I hope I hope that I can be invited back with you when you're on.
You're always here.
I know that was a joke.
Me and Mark,
I know.
It's crazy because me and Mark have always been like the regular callers to Mark Sargent's show. I know I keep saying we're going, but let me just say this. And like literally we both call every week. And when I gave my phone number out on the show, I heard Mark was the next caller actually. And he said, "Oh, I'm going to call her." Well, then somebody from my hometown called me. And as I was talking to him, I was asking him for Mark's number, Mark Zulu's number, because somebody from New York was contacting me and wanted to do like a meetup with somebody. So I told him I would work on getting Zulu's number for him. And so Flip calls me and I was like, "Hey, do you happen to have Zulu's number?" Or anything? Because he had told me that he had spoke or emailed with him or something in the past. So I'm sorry, excuse me. And he was like, "Yeah, I got it." And I said, "Well, I know how I would never ask for somebody's number through somebody else because I wouldn't give somebody else's number, you know." So I said, "Well, have him, if you can call him or text him or whatever, give him my number and have him call me so I can hook him up with this guy." right after I said that, my phone beeps and it was Zulu. I was like, man. So it's like, I don't believe in coincidence and everything happens for a reason. The timing of all of this that I came and started, everything was perfect. So Zulu is my pimp, so he calls himself. But that's a joke. Don't take it the wrong way.
Man, you weren't supposed to tell people.
But
That's the whole thing, the anonymity.
but we kind of started this together. So me, Mark, and Flip, and then like Carl and Vincent just kind of joined the crew too. And like all 5 of us have been there like from the beginning together. And all of the rest of you guys who have jumped in between, like I don't plan on ever like straying from y'all. Like y'all are gonna be my day one A1s forever. Like appreciate all of you guys.
Oh.
God bless all of you and keep loving your heart.
Always. I got even love for the haters, the trollers, the
Exactly.
funny guys. All
I
of
do
them.
too.
I don't hate nobody. I mean, like I say, if they're streaming me on their channel while I'm streaming, they're showing everybody else who doesn't know about this stuff. Good information. Might turn one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Trolls help in their own way. They help me to sort of hone my arguments as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat.
Yep. All right. It's 9:40. We gotta go. I'm hitting in right now. Bye, y'all. Much love.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.